cluster creation, where different group of students is given and their marks of physics and mathematics is given. So there are three groups in this data set. So you can see there is PQR student. They all three have similar kind of marks in both the subjects. Similarly, XYZ and ABC, they have similar kind of marks in both the subjects. So if we create cluster for this data set, we have three groups wherein PQR is in one group, XYZ is in one group, and ABC is one group. So this is how cluster will be created, wherein each cluster will be homogeneous within and heterogeneous with the other cluster. Then there are few applications given here which are wherein the cluster analysis is used in those domains. So first is marketing. Customers are clustered as per their potential buying pattern based upon the product and services. So in marketing companies, they group the customers based upon their buying patterns or buying behavior and their economic statuses. So this is how a marketing company uses cluster analysis for a product or service. For retail market, they generally group the customers based upon the age group, or you can say the choice of their buying pattern or the style of the customers. So these are different factors which can be taken in order to group the buyers. Then there is medical science. So medical science use cluster analysis to facilitate efficient diagnosis or treatment of patients. So you can see whenever we go to a hospital, a particular kind of treatment, they have different floors for it. So they have grouped different treatments together on different floors. So this is how cluster analysis can be done for medical sciences. Then there is city planning. So city planning, it can be taken as an example like grouping houses according to the house types or the geographic nature of that area. So there also cluster analysis can be used. Then there is sociology. So sociology, dividing people based on their demographics, their lifestyle or socio-economic factors. So there are also a cluster analysis can be used. Then there are two approaches for clustering. So first is hierarchical clustering. Hierarchical clustering, it is a nested cluster wherein progressively nests are created. Nests here means clusters. So each cluster starting from a small group, it gets into a larger cluster and stops when one cluster remains. You can see in the example here, the first pattern, the first layer here, they are the initial clusters that have been created. Then joining them, a bigger cluster is created, and at the end there is a single cluster left. So this is how a nested cluster or hierarchical clustering is done. Then hierarchical clustering is generally used for small data sets. Small data sets here, it can be taken as less than 100. It is more, it gives more good outcome when the data set is small, because there are chances of overfitting the data set in hierarchical clustering. Hierarchical clustering, when you run the algorithm in your program, it is generally slow, it has slow runtime for the algorithms. Then the outcome of the clustering, hierarchical clustering, is a dendrogram. So the graph you can see here, it is called as dendrogram. Then the other approach is k-means clustering. K-means clustering, it divides n objects into m number of clusters. So what does it mean is there is a defined number of clusters wherein the whole data set has to be divided. It is good to be used for large data sets because we can create a defined number of clusters for the large data set. So the runtime of this algorithm, k-means algorithm, is faster in comparison to hierarchical clustering. Then what do we do in k-means clustering? We find centroids, or we can say the average of the data set, and based upon those centroids, we create clusters. So the points nearing to that centroid, those points will be clustered in one group. So this is how different clusters are created. So the optimal number of clusters in k-means clustering is found by using elbow method, which we will be doing when we will be working upon the codes of clustering. Then k-means clustering is always used for the continuous variables. Then there are two types of hierarchical clustering. So it is agglomerative and divisive. So agglomerative, it works upon bottom to top approach, and divisive, it goes top to bottom. So what does it mean? Like in this graph also you can see the agglomerative will go from the least, the first clustering layer to the last, the wherein the whole data set becomes one cluster. And divisive, it means starting from the first, that is the top layer, wherein the whole data set is taken and it is divided into small clusters. So this is how two of types of hierarchical clustering are there. Then we need to find the similarities between two clusters. So there are different kind of linkages that are used to find the similarity between two clusters. So first is the min, or you can say single linkage algorithm, wherein the shortest distance between the points in each cluster is calculated. So you can see there is a cluster 1 and cluster 2. So the shortest distance will be calculated in order to find the single linkage algorithm. Then there is complete linkage algorithm, wherein we calculate or find the longest distance between 2 points in each cluster. Then there is group average, or you can say average linkage hierarchical clustering. So it is used, these similarity or linkages are used when we are using hierarchical clustering algorithms. So average linkage hierarchical clustering is done by calculating or the distance between each point in one cluster to every point in the other cluster. As you can see in the image also, the distance is calculated with each of the point in both the clusters. Then there is one more distance, that is you can say the similarity that can be find out by using distance between the centroids. So centroids will be computed for cluster 1 and cluster 2, and then similarities between the two centroids will be checked, and that is how the clusters will be divided. Then it is very important to understand distance measure of clusters. So distance measure is calculated for hierarchical clustering and k-means clustering. There are two ways we can find the distance. It can be done using Euclidean distance or Manhattan distance. So Euclidean distance, it is the straight line distance. As you can see in the image also, it is a straight line distance. It is also called as Pythagoras matrix, wherein you can see there is a graph here. So it computes the square root of the sum of the squares of differences between corresponding values. So as in we used to calculate Pythagoras theorem. So we will be calculating the hypotenuse of this triangle. So it will take a 5 minus 1 points. Here you can see it is 1 1, and at point 2 it is 5 and 4. So the distance will be calculated as 5 minus 1 whole square plus 4 minus 1 whole square and its square root. So it is a Pythagoras theorem wherein we are calculating the hypotenuse of this triangle, and it will be the Euclidean distance for clusters. So each cluster has a centroid. So if we are talking about clusters now, so we have discussed how to calculate Euclidean distance. And if we talk about clusters, so each cluster has a centroid, that is average of the clusters, all the points. So measure of each cluster distance will be calculated for each of the cluster. So this is how Euclidean distance will be calculated. Then there is Manhattan distance. So Manhattan distance, it is also known as city block or L1 norm, wherein it measures distance along the axis of right angle. So why is it called as Manhattan distance? It calculates the distance that will be traveled along the coordinates only. It will measure the distance by the right angle of each of the triangles. It captures the distance between 2 points by aggregating the pairwise absolute difference between each variable. So as you can see in the example also, it does not take the square of the values. It takes the absolute value for the distance calculation. So if we take what happens is Euclidean distance, it will exaggerate that discrepancy. So discrepancy here means if there are scattered points near the centroids, So it will exaggerate the discrepancy that will be calculated in the distance. But if we are calculating Manhattan distance, it will shrug it off, being more influenced by the closeness of other variables. So this matrix is less affected by the outliers of Euclidean.